Welcome children, and in this chapter we will learn about sacrifice. God wants us to be His co-workers, which will enable Him to act through those who surrender their life to the will of God. To do this and begin a life of sacrifice, a person must forsake selfishness and be ready to serve others. We have heard people sacrificing their life for noble causes. However, the greatest sacrifice is on the cross at Calvary. It is this sacrifice that saves humanity. In John chapter 15 verses 13, we can recall words of Jesus Christ, "Greater love has no one than this, that He laid down His life for His friends." We see the height of true love and sacrifice in Jesus Christ, as His mission was not be served but to serve others. It is this love that attracts people to Jesus. This love has inspired many people. Let us now look at lives of a few individuals who are great examples of sacrifice. The first person we will talk about is Mother Teresa. She was a Catholic nun who was traveling in train from Darjeeling to Kolkata. It was in 1948. She had heard about lepers wandering the city. She also heard infants being abandoned in the streets as well. But on that night, the voice of Jesus pierced her heart, and the passage can be seen in Matthew chapter 25 verses 40. "I will tell you the truth, whatever you do for one of the least of these brothers o' mine, you did for me." As a result, the nun took a bold decision that she was going to the slums and give the people there a decent and better life. She implemented this resolve in letter and into her spirit. Nun Teresa later became known as the Mother of Destitutes. It was Christ's sacrifice on the cross that inspired Mother Teresa and other people to live for the poor and the neglected. She saved thousands of people because she neglected all worldly desires. The next person we will talk about is Dr. Albert Schweitzer. He was a great scholar, philosopher, doctor and a musician. He abandoned all worldly comforts and social standing and went to the unexplored interior forests areas of Africa to serve the uneducated and uncivilized tribal people. He taught them about God and Jesus, etc., and through him, many people in Africa became to know of Jesus Christ. Now we will talk about Father Damien. He was another great soul who sacrificed his life for lepers. The teachings of Jesus was embedded in him deeply that it made him sacrifice his life for the lepers in the island of Molokai. His life is a great symbol of a life of sacrifice. He cherished a thought that he could do his service as an unknown man, however his name spread across the world far and wide. Lepers were people who were considered untouchables and unapproachable. However, he lived with lepers and died as a leper, serving the lepers. He laid his life for them. As a result, he has been beatified by the Roman Catholic Church. In the Malankara Church alone, there were great church fathers who led a life of service worth emulating. In the next few slides, we will learn about the late His Grace Patros Marasathios. The late Sabratna His Grace Dr. Geevarghese Marasathios. And finally the late His Grace Matthews Mar Barnabas. The late His Grace Patros Marasathios moved among the marginalized segments of our society where many were classed as untouchable people. Because of this, they were suffering a lot, not only from poverty, but also from the neglect and contempt from the higher caste people. His Grace spent his whole life for the upliftment of such oppressed people, and as a result found the missionary society called Sliba Dasa Samuam. All over India, many children were born to parents suffering from leprosy and AIDS. Though these children were not affected in any way, they were not welcome into society. The late Sabratna His Grace Dr. Geevarghese Marasathios set up institutions to look after these children. It helped them grow as healthy children. These children eventually became people who had good careers, occupying responsible positions in society. The late His Grace Matthews Mar Barnabas was a model of humility and was serving among the sick and marginalized people, providing them with assistance as well as working hard among the youth for their spiritual growth. These three of our fathers, among others, showed us how to live to the call of God, thus sacrificing their time and talents, and even life for the poor and the suffering. Remember that if we are living today in comfort, it must be borne in our mind that it would not have been possible had it not been the sacrifice and hard work of many others. There can be sacrifice only if there is love. Love without sacrifice can never be true love. Love without sacrifice becomes weak. God has given us talents which are to be used in His service. We shall surrender before God all those gifts, talents, hopes and dreams so that He will enable us to put them for godly purposes. Thank you for watching. God bless you and have an awesome week.